Let me get straight into this lesson. I'm going to get into showing you proof that so-called white people, as they relabel themselves today, are biblical Edomites, right? And let me say this too, because you might have some people that consider themselves so-called white that watch my lessons. You have to understand this. It's not about the skin tone, you know, per se. Predominantly, so-called white people look a certain way, but you're going to have a lot of so-called white people that look like so-called white people, but they really are Israelites. You have to understand that, right? So if you can resonate with this doctrine and understand it, it's a good chance that you're an Israelite, even though you might look like a so-called white person, because you're gonna have Israelites that look like so-called white people. You're gonna have Israelites that look like so-called Chinese people, Moabites. You're gonna have Israelites that look like so-called Arabs, which would be Ishmaelites, so on and so forth. So this is not a so-called black thing. I just want to specify that. But predominantly the Edomites do look a certain way, but not all, right? Let's get into this lesson.
You are going to visit here. This is Petra. We have walked down a way between cliffs, very narrow, very easy to protect, and we've come to this first building, which is called the Treasury. I don't know why, it shouldn't be.
And if I'm gonna show you the United States Treasury building, and you go to ancient Greece and ancient Rome, it's the same architecture. I'm gonna prove everything that I'm telling you. You see those columns behind this Edomite looking guy? That's ancient Rome. You know what I'm saying? Which this is in Petra, right? In the region in the area of Mount Seir, where the Edomites first dwelled at, and then they took this same building style and took it to ancient Greece, and then they took it to ancient Rome, and then they took it to America. This is the revised Roman Empire that we're in. It's the same system.
It was probably the tomb of a rich person back in the time, and after that it was probably used as a temple until this area got forgotten about. But the thing that actually thrills me when I look at that building is it's carved into the rock, and the skill.
Thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks. This is the first place the so-called white people dwelled at in Mount Seir and in the region around Mount Seir and so on and so forth, right?
The Nabateans must have had to actually carve that out. If you put it in a context,
the Nabateans didn't carve that out. That was the Edomites. So the Nabateans, that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day, right? So the Edomites dwelled here. You look at ancient Rome. You look at this pillar right here. I'm gonna show you the United States architecture to the Supreme Court. They government buildings in Washington D.C., the District of Columbia. That's a whole nother lesson within itself. But let's keep going. Same architecture.
if you go back to the Roman pillars or the Greek columns, if you made your column and made a mistake, it was costly, but it wasn't disastrous. You're carving this out and you make a mistake, then it's there for eternity. And it's there for eternity now because the tourists are coming through at this time of year, early in the spring, about 3,000 a day. In the height of the season, 13,000 a day. And at the height of the Nabateans, there was probably about 20,000 people living here. And living here because it was a safe place. It was a place easy to protect. There's only really that one channel to get in, and if the enemy's coming, you're up on the top with the rocks. And yes, this was a safe place for very many years. It was also a safe place in the biblical thought in terms of who lived here. This was the home of Esau and his descendants, the Edomites.
Boom, checkmate. Let's get into this lesson. Give me 1 second. Now I'm going to get into this last video. This is the museum in Petra Museum, right? Inside of Jordan. But they showing you all the artifacts that they got out of Petra. Check this out. You see these artifacts, these so-called white people. All right, check that one out. These are so-called white people, the Edomites. This is where they got this out of Petra and the surrounding areas. Right? So let's keep going. Them are so-called white people. That man, that statue, that bust to the right looks like Donald J. Trump, which is, we believe through the spirit, he's Nero, back reincarnated. So if you can believe, if you can understand that the Roman Empire is reincarnated, which is obvious, you believe that people are reincarnated. Let's keep going. You see these, look at this. Look at that. That's straight out of the Greek and Roman um, artwork of busts, however you want to say it, those nakedness of those statues. So these are the Edomites. Let me get into this lesson. Boy, I got a lot to get to, but it's, you know what I'm saying, very simple thing, but yet it's a mystery to the world. And they have taught in their theologian circles that the Edomites were done away with. Or they'll say the so-called white people descend from the seed of Japhet. That's a lie. So I'm going to show you this. Let's go get all into this. So if you know anything about the eagle, right? The eagle is the Edomites' mascot, for lack of better words. So you go to ancient Petra, right here. Check this out down at the bottom. I'm going to read this title. It says Edomite limestone eagle found at Petra, Jordan. Why is that eagle there? Because that eagle is like a marriage with the so-called white man, Edomites. You go to ancient, I'm going to show you. Matter of fact, let's keep going. Let me go back. Let me show you this eagle. So this going back into the top right, Edom. That's Petra. Then you go to the left of it, America. On the back of a dollar bill, the back of a quarter, the United States military, the President's seal, the United States Marines, the Federal Reserve, all the government buildings has the eagle on it. Why is that? Because these are Edomites. Going back to Obadiah. Look at Rome. I'm going to get into this information about Rome. And you had this, the N word right there. So let's go here. Let's kind of methodically move through this. Rome. I want to show you something. Salakia. And let me show you this. This is a broken eagle. It was actually two eagles. This is in Petra, where we know the Edomites dwelled at. This was an eagle. It says right here at the bottom, broken pendant. Eagles. So them eagles, they broke them off or they fell off, however you want to say it. But they was eagles on top of these in the mounts, right? Where they dwelled at. So let's go here. Obadiah 1 and 4. It says, though thy exalt thyself as the eagle. So the eagle in the Edomites is like a marriage. It's their mascot. It's their symbolic animal that's attached to the Edomites so we can know who they are today. Right here. It says Jupiter, Zeus, the eagle, Aquila, was a symbol of Rome. A graven image of Aquila, which means eagle, was carried by the Roman legions into battle. So, and on these Roman military standards, they would have the eagle. Why is that? Because these are Edomites. Going back here, Rome, the eagle on their military standards. Now the Edomites today have that in all their military branches. You go into the Marines as an eagle. You go into what the U.S. Navy, I think, believe it's an eagle. You go into all the branches of the military, their mascot is an eagle. Going back to Obadiah 1 and 4. So much more to get to. So let's go here. I'm going to show you the buildings. So this is in Petra. It says Petra, site of the ancient Edom. You see how it's built with the columns. They got their deities built inside of this as well. You see the way they built, right? So let's go to Rome. This is an actual model of ancient Rome. You see how it's built? You see the same columns, the same architecture. And I'm going to show you the United States Supreme Court. The United States Supreme Court has the same architecture, the columns, the same thing as ancient Rome. And then we go back into ancient Greece. And then we go back into Petra, Mount Seir, so on and so forth. Same people. This is the United States Treasury, if I'm not mistaken, building. You see how it's built with the columns. You see that pyramid shape to it. Let's go back to ancient Rome. So ancient Rome, right here, you see how it's built like a rotunda to the top of the picture to the left. That's a rotunda. So you go to the United States Capitol building, they call this the rotunda, that circle thing, right? In ancient Rome, they had a Senate. When you go to the word Senate, let me show you. You see it's the same. It's identical. Matter of fact, ancient Rome, let me see. Right here, the Senate. It says right here at the top, it says the word Senate comes from the Latin word centenus, if I said that correctly, which means council of elders. So right here, I even screenshotted it. The word Senate goes back into Latin, it goes back into Rome. Why is that? Because it's the same system. This is the Senate in the United States Congress, right? This is how they see how it's orientated, like in a circular thing. And you go to the ancient Roman Senate, the same thing going in that circle. Boy, the Most High is cold, boy. So let's go to the artifacts that they found in Petra. Check that so-called white person. And these, the dwellers in the cleft of the rocks, the Edomites, this is in Petra, right? And what Petra means rock. So they dwelled in rocks, caves, mountains, so on and so forth, to prove that this is the same people. Look at this. Ancient Rome. The Most High don't lie. You see how the idols incorporated inside of the buildings like it is in the Congress buildings. They have idols. They have something on top of this Capitol building called, is that Columbia or Libertas? One of these different deities that they got on there. Matter of fact, I'm going to do a lesson going into that so you can get edified. But you see this. This is in Petra, so-called white man. And it's unrefutable. Look at this. It's crazy, man. Ancient Rome. But it's the same system, the same people. This is the United States Federal Reserve building. On top of this building is a eagle, showing you that wherever the Edomites go, they're gonna erect that eagle, showing you who they were today, going back to Obadiah. Matter of fact, let me get that real quick. It's always a time thing. So let me let this load up. It represents America. Check this out. It says the bald eagle and the bald eagle. Everybody know the bald eagle represents America. That's the national animal of America. Let's go to Obadiah. Right, Obadiah, you can screenshot it, 1 and 4. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and it's talking about Edomites. If you go to 1 and 1 and you read down to 1 and 4. And then, I think I might have to do another lesson going into this. All right, so right here in the Bible, connection between Edom and the eagle, primarily found in the book of Obadiah. You know what I'm saying? And right here, Esau's blessing was a sword. So this is why they have that mentality that they do. Hopefully this lesson was edifying. Call Hala Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rachak Kwadash. Shalom.